Hi friends! Today we're going to be talking about characters. Now characters are the people or animals in a story. They usually have a conflict in the story that they need to resolve. So below here we have a nice anchor chart for you to always refer to. Now when it comes to characters, we think of two things. The external traits of a character, so what we can actually see on the outside or what we can see happening in the story, like the character's hair color, or how long or short it is, what clothes the character is wearing, how tall or short the character is, the facial expressions that the character is making, or the actions that the characters are doing. Like right here, the girl, we can see that she is kicking a ball. The other part of characters is internal traits. Internal traits are what we learn from a character. We don't always get to see it, but we learn about that character through their personality, through their thoughts, and through their feelings. So always use this anchor chart if you ever forget what external, which is on the outside, and internal, which is on the inside. And if you can't remember, think of inside, internal. So now I want to show you or demonstrate finding the external traits and the internal traits with Spoon from the book that you read on Tuesday. So Spoon is our main character. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to identify his external traits. Now remember, external means what we can see on the outside of Spoon. Like in our anchor chart, it shows us, let me show you our anchor chart, what you can see like hair or clothing or how tall or their facial expressions or the actions that they're doing. So the first external trait on the outside of Spoon is that Spoon is silver. I can know that the color of Spoon is silver like most silverware is. I also know that Spoon is a spoon. He's not a person, he's not an animal, he's an actual spoon. So that describes the outside of him. When I think of his height, Spoon is pretty small. I could have put small, I could have put short, but if I'm thinking about what he looks like physically, he's not very big because spoons aren't very big. So he's very small. Spoon has skinny arms and legs. I can tell that by looking at him. He has very skinny arms and very skinny legs as a part of his body. And the last one is kind of silly, but Spoon doesn't wear any clothes. So I'm writing no clothes because that describes his external traits, what I can see on the outside of Spoon. Now let's talk about Spoon's internal traits. Internal traits. So internal, in on the inside, go back to our anchor chart, are what we learn from a character's personality through their thoughts, through their words, and through their feelings. So, one feeling that I know Spoon was feeling throughout the book was he was worried. He was worried that he wasn't as good as forks or as chopsticks or as knives. Spoon also felt, so a feeling that I noticed was that he thinks he is not useful. So Spoon thought that he wasn't as useful as forks and as knives and as chopsticks. He thought that he couldn't do all the same cool things that they could. So we know a feeling was he felt worried, and his thoughts. He thinks throughout the book that he's not useful. Another feeling that I noticed with Spoon was that he was jealous of others. I know that he felt that way because when he went to his mom, he was just saying, I can't do all the cool things that a knife can do, like cutting through things. I can't do all the cool things like chopsticks, like pick up things together. So I know that he felt jealous too. I also know another feeling he had was that he loves his mom and dad. I could tell that he loves his mom and dad because he talked to them and went to them for advice and told them how he felt about how he was worried and how he thought that he wasn't useful enough. So by the things that he was saying to them, I knew that he loves his mom and dad. And then finally, at the end of the book, Spoon realizes he gets to do fun things too. So at the end of the story, after he was talking with his mom and everything, he finally realizes, so he thought, and notices that he actually does get to do fun things. His mom pointed out all the cool things that spoons get to do, and he does realize that he gets to do fun things too. So think about the words that I used for internal. Internal is a character's thoughts and feelings. Worried is a feeling. Thinks is that he thought about something. Jealous is a feeling. Love is a feeling. And realizes is like a thought. When you realize something, you have a thought. So look at the words that I used for internal. Internal on the inside, how Spoon was feeling on the inside. So now I just showed you how to identify external traits, so things you see on the outside of them, and internal traits, things that you see on the inside, like thoughts and feelings. If you're ever confused, always, always, always go back to this anchor chart right here.